Please open your textbook to page 404. Today's lesson is 9.3, Measures of Center. Our purpose today is to identify the three measures of center for any given set of data so that you can describe what value is typical about the data set. Okay, a measure of center is a measure that describes the typical value of the data set. We've already studied mean, and the mean is one type of measure of center. There are two others. Okay, I would like you to pause the video as you need to, because you do need to put these three notes into your notes section. Okay, as we've already mentioned, the mean is the average. We need to add all the numbers together and divide by the number of values in the data set. Median is another measure of center. To find the median, it is simply the middle. We put the values in order from least to greatest and cross off one from each end until we find the middle value. The last measure of center is mode. Mode is the value that occurs the most, the data that occurs most in the data set. Please pause the video and write these three vocabulary terms down. Okay, now we've already studied mean, so I'm going to spend time today talking about median and mode. As we just mentioned, the median is the center of the data set. Now, we always have to order the data from least to greatest. If the data set has an odd number of values, then the median is the middle value. For a set of data with an even number of values, the median is the mean of the middle two numbers. Now I'm going to actually show you an example of each. In my first data set, I have 5, 8, 9, 12, and 14. If I were to cross off one value from each side until I found the middle, I would be crossing off 5, 14, 8 and 12, and 9 becomes my median. This will always work with a set of data that has an odd number of data. Okay, next we're going to talk about what if there is an even set of data. If I start crossing off on the ends to find the center, I have 1, 1, 2, 2, and now I have two numbers in the middle, 5 and 7. So what I actually have to do, as the arrow is showing you, is find what is actually in the middle of 5 and 7. Now, in this case, it's pretty easy to know 6 is the number between 5 and 7. But sometimes our data might be a lot more spread out. And in those cases, what you need to do is add together those two middle values, so 5 and 7. 5 plus 7 is 12. And then I divide it by 2 to find out what's exactly in the middle. And 12 divided by 2 is 6. This process always needs to be followed if you have an even number of pieces of data. Okay, the last measure of center we're going to talk about is mode. The mode of a data set is the value or values that occur most. So I really like to think about mode, most. Data can have more than one mode. It can have one mode, or more than one, or no mode at all. When all values occur only once, there is no mode. So here's an example of a set of numbers. Our data is 11, 13, 15, 15, 18, 21, 24, and 24. Now you can see in this case, our data set has two modes, 15 and 24, because both of them occur two times. Now, if I were to add another piece of data, say add another 24 to the end, now, since there are 3 24s but only 2 15s, my new mode in this set of data would be only 24.